North Korea had set a 12-day window for the launch of its satellite-carrying space rocket. With one failed attempt at putting the satellite into orbit on May 31st, but there was no second try as the window expired on Sunday. What is the regime up to? We're joined by Lieutenant General retired Chun In-bum for more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, the notice period was between the start of May 31st and the start of June 11th. Now, that's over. Does that mean no new launch in the near future?
Not at all. It just means that the North Koreans have been unsuccessful in finding and fixing the problem that they confronted during the last launch. I'm sure that the North Koreans will try to launch as soon as possible once these problems are rectified, and that other conditions such as weather and political situations meet their goals.
Right, the next launch could come without warning or notice, like the North Korean leader's sister Kim Yo-jong said a couple of weeks ago. Now, South Korea's top office said Seoul is not letting its guard down, and the Japanese government has extended an order to destroy any North Korean ballistic missile or rocket that threatens its territory. Now, why is that? Why are the two countries on such high alert?
So the North Koreans have made a bad situation worse by declaring that they will not be notifying the international community of a launch, which means that it can happen anytime, and therefore we have to be on the alert all the time. And if the launch occurs, as it probably will without any kind of notice, it could lead into another type of accident that not even the North Koreans have intended and could cause fatalities within the region. So in order to prevent this, of course, neighboring countries like South Korea and Japan are on high alert. And in the case of a debris or even the rocket itself landing in their population's area, they're prepared to shoot it down.
Right, so just because the notice period is over doesn't mean that they've let go of their nuclear or spy satellite ambitions.
Yes.
Then, according to 38 North over the weekend, satellite imagery shows movement that could mean preparation for a possible engine test of a satellite. Tell us about that movement. Could that be for the second spy satellite launch?
Yes, it could be for another preparation for another launch, because we now estimate that the failure of the first launch was because of its engines. So this activity is probably in relation to finding and fixing that problem. The real problem, though, is that whatever they're testing with their engines, it can be used for military purposes. That's why the whole notion of North Korea launching a so-called peaceful satellite is a problem for us.
Right, because those satellites could be a threat to the international community. That's why we are all staying on high alert. Now, there are reports that China is also working to find and retrieve the debris of the fallen North Korean rocket. Why is China doing that? I mean, isn't it illegal to transfer such debris to North Korea?
Well, for one thing, the debris has landed in international waters. So any country with the intent and capability to retrieve the debris is within their legal bounds. Now, to your specific question, if the Chinese were going to return the technology or the retrieved debris to North Korea, that would be certainly not legal. And morally, it would be against the stability of the region. So I hope that they will not be doing this. But right now, North Korea has no legal rights to the debris, even to the debris in international waters, because they're not actively trying to retrieve it themselves.
Right, the rocket itself belongs to North Korea, but the debris in the West belongs to nobody for now, right?
Yes.
Then, before we let you go, why is China seeking to retrieve the debris? Is it because it will transfer that to the North? What's their purpose?
They're probably as curious as we are as to the extent of the technology of the North Koreans. And if anybody is able to find the payload, the actual satellite, that would be great. I mean, we would be able to know the extent of North Korea's capabilities in that field. But whatever we find, and we will find it, it will help us to understand North Korea.
Right. Literally, all eyes are on that debris in the West Sea. Thank you
Yes.
always for your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you again.